Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Father Knows Something. We have Justin, we have Morgan, and Holly, not here.
Gone.
She's
Yet
gone.
Again.
Yes.
I'm sick of this. I'm over it.
Well, her mommy is begging me to say, come get her, come do it again. And I just know that we've kind of had a crazy schedule. So
That is true, but
and it's not
she's
fair.
not holding up her end of the bargain.
She is not. She is not. I got this plant behind me making me nuts.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Justin experiences it every week. No. You're
How's
messing
that?
up my rug.
How's that?
Just push the plant.
You just got to give it a little twist.
Just push it.
Like the pot. Like the
How's this,
pot.
guys?
like the planter.
The pot.
Like the planner.
There you
We
go.
did it. We did it.
There you go.
So, any news that we should talk about? Besides that, I got my report back from the place you sent me and all kinds of concerns. By the way, guys, I'm here today, but according to the docs, I may not be here tomorrow.
No. Because of my anxiety, we sent my dad to do one of those new full body scans, something that our healthcare system should provide us from a baseline, but insurance is a scam, so they don't.
Boom.
So we just sent him to that, and mostly good news, but he's got some dense plaque. So he's got to start watching what he eats and cholesterol. And we have a nodule on in the pelvis area. So he's got some follow-ups to do, but mostly good. No strokes. Mostly healthy, but yeah, the dense plaque we gotta work on.
Yeah, and the hernia thing that you talked about.
You have a hiatal hernia. That probably explains your weird burping. And you have a 6.3 centimeter cyst on your kidney.
So this is all very concerning. So I'm going to sleep tonight thinking, will I be here tomorrow?
Yeah, it's mostly good news.
That's good news. Well,
Yeah, mostly good. It could have been worse. It could have came out way worse.
100%.
You got a pretty decent scan.
okay. Well, I'm pleased.
He's having anxiety.
I'm so relieved.
He's actually having anxiety. You
Well,
can tell.
That's why we're going to get into other people's problems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go to it.
Okay, so today's theme is relationship.
Okay, good. I can't wait to dig in.
Yeah, Justin put this whole theme together for us. So me and you are both going in blind.
Mhm. Okay.
Let's do it. You were supposed to do your bidding stuff to amp up the stories
I was
this
too.
week.
I was absolutely too
We'll
overwhelmed.
save it.
No, you got it.
No, I'm a little
Story number one.
overwhelmed.
We got story number one right here. Story number one.
Very good.
Okay.
Morgan took care of it. And do I hear story number two? Not yet. Not
No.
before
Not
story.
yet.
Not before story number one. First, second, third, last call. Start on story number one.
There we go.
I like that sweater, Jerry.
Isn't this great?
He's
Yeah,
dressed
it's a
very
nice
nice
one.
today.
Yeah. I know. I feel like I should have dressed up a little.
Okay,
And you
here we
got
go.
the jacket? Fuck.
Yeah,
I'm just...
balling out
It's
in my
okay.
outfit.
It's all right.
Well, it certainly beats the robe. And apparently, when I was reading some of the things, somebody commented on Jerry popping in for the commercial in the robe.
It might be a thing going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hugh Hefner had the silk, the silk
We're not
robe.
doing that. The cotton was great. Hi, Jerry, Justin, and Morgan. I'm a longtime listener of Father Knows Something and Two Hot Takes. I love both podcasts and all the stories/advice given. I never thought I'd have something to write in, but here it goes. I, 22 female, have been in a 3-year relationship with male 27. Our relationship has been nothing short of wonderful, and I love him more than I've ever loved someone before. We've been talking about marriage for the last 6 months or so. And if anyone would have asked me a few months ago, I would have told them I was 110% set on marrying this man. But recently, some things have happened, and now I am unsure what to do. There is a guy 2 years younger than me that I grew up with. Let's call him Bill. Bill and his family are close friends with my family. I never had a real relationship with Bill, but in high school we hung out a lot, and after a drunken night out, I was his first kiss. Even though I had slight feelings for Bill at the time, I never let our relationship become anything more than being friends, since I would be going off to college and he was a bit younger than me. I just never saw it working out, and I didn't want to ruin our friendship. We both ended up in relationships shortly after I graduated, and that was that. Or so I thought. Bill is friends with a couple of my friends from high school that I still keep in close contact with. By the time Bill's relationship ended, I had just started dating my current partner. I have heard from my friends numerous times the last 3 years about how Bill tells them he is in love with me and is waiting on me and my partner to break up so he can have his shot with me.
He's going to make the move.
Bill has told them many times I'm the one that got away, and he will wait on me for forever because he truly believes I'm the one for him. When I was told these things from my friends, a part of me secretly wondered what a relationship with him would be like. This past weekend, my partner and I went out to a bar with some friends, and Bill happened to be there. He welcomed my partner and I in as soon as we came through the door with hugs. Later that night, while I was waiting in line for the bathroom, he approached me. He told me he hated me, and I asked why. He said he doesn't hate me, but he wished that he did. I asked if it was because he loved me, and he confirmed. Bill told me that he has been in love with me since he was 13 and spilled his heart out to me. He said he has tried moving on, but can't, and has decided to wait on me. I told him he should move on, and he said that he wished he could. But anyone he has tried to start a relationship with the last 3 years, he has not been able to commit to because he is not over what he feels for me. Then he got very close to me and said, "We could have made this work. We can make this work, and you know that." The feelings I felt at that moment were not what I was expecting. I felt feelings for him in that moment, and he knew it. I ended the conversation with saying that I needed to go and walked away. I feel very confused. I'm now wondering if I decide to marry my current partner, if I will always wonder what things would have been like if I had given Bill a chance. I also am afraid to leave such a loving and wonderful relationship I have for something that may not even work out. I'm afraid to ruin such a good thing I have going. I haven't been able to stop thinking about that night and what Bill said to me, though. I did tell my boyfriend that night what Bill had said to me, and my boyfriend confronted Bill and asked him to respect our relationship. They spoke about it for an hour and both handled the conversation maturely. My parents have recently started to hate my current partner and have always tried to convince me to date Bill, which has made the situation feel even worse. I see a future with my current partner, but I can also see one with Bill. I feel as if both men could make me happy long term, and they are both truly good guys. I feel wrong for feeling what I felt in that moment with Bill. My heart hurts even thinking about leaving my current partner and hurting him. I am lost on what to do and could use some advice. I feel damned if I do and damned if I don't.
I call this the cross. This is like when you're growing up a tree and you're a caterpillar and you come to that branch that looks like this and you say, do I take this branch or I take this branch? Because once that caterpillar goes this way or that way, they're never going to see that other branch. But remember, they always do become a butterfly eventually, and they can fly anywhere.
Yeah.
There's a thought. Look, if you were absolutely 100% sure and everything was locked with your current guy, you wouldn't be looking at Bill. Something opened up inside that you're going to have to explore it. I don't think that you can actually go through your life, and if anything ever came up, you say, what, I should have checked Bill out. And I think that you need to be 100% sure. And you remember, how old is she? 23?
22.
22. You know, this is the time you investigate. And if you need to take a pause in your relationship and your boyfriend certainly knows there's something going on. I mean, that's the best part, is that there's honesty with this.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, he's not disrespecting your relationship with him. He is really respecting a calling that he has. And he says, look, this has been going on a while, and now we're old enough that we can actually maybe check this out and really see if this is the right person. You may find out one of two things. One, that the man that you're with is very patient and really is in love with you, that he is going to encourage you to find out what's going on here. So you're certain. And you're going to find out yourself if this is just an ego thing because the guy said how much he's in love with you, or if there's something really there at this point. You got to be careful of, though, is as you get through life, there might always be someone that's going to come on to you, and you can't keep investigating consistently every day. Is the grass going to be greener with
the
Bob?
gas?
The grass is going to be greener with Bob, Charlie,
Yeah,
Ted.
definitely.
But because this is such a unique, thing, maybe you do need to explore it, especially since it's very, much in front of you at this point in time.
Yeah, I think all of that. It goes back to the what ifs, because you always go back and say, I should have tried it. And I always say with things like that you should go see.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I'll say, though, is despite being 22, I mean, it'd be a lot different if we were late 20s or early 30s or something. But at 22, that's the only reason I don't 100% fit in this boat of the grass always does seem greener. And the difference is, you may think you may be happy with either one long term. What you do know is you have actually been dating the guy you're with, and it's good. And that is rare. You don't know what it's like to date the other guy. You don't know. It could be awful. It could be all tempt and just absolutely be shitty.
It could be one way or the other.
Except you do know with your current partner that it is good. But I do agree with you, something's missing to be tempted.
That's where I was going, right there. If it was so perfect, how could she even have that door possibly open?
True. That's true.
And there's something not perfect here that she has that door is allowing to be just cracked a little bit.
Yeah.
I have been in relationships that I was locked, and I didn't care who came by. You've seen me in some of those relationships, and doesn't matter who comes by. No one's getting in because I was locked. And then there's relationships that I have that I was not locked. And if somebody was poking their head, I would say, maybe I don't belong in this relationship because I'm actually letting somebody poke their head in.
Yeah.
And that itself got me to, walk away from a relationship.
This one's really tough because, Bill, the other guy, is younger. Like, Bill is only 20. Our writer is only 22. And I look at how when you're in the moment, you're like 22. Wow. I'm an adult. I'm really established. But looking back now as a 29-year-old, I'm 22. I had no idea what I wanted at 22. I cannot imagine getting married at that age, but so many people do. So you have to truly, it's to each your own, and everyone finds their right path. But I will say, if you are having any doubts or any feelings for someone else, you do kind of need to sort that out, especially before marrying someone else. But I was going to ask you, they've been together 3 years, but are talking about marriage and these things before you proposed, because after being engaged it's a different story. But if I would have said to you, close to you proposing, what are your thoughts about us taking a break so I can, make sure this is right? What would you have done? I think for a lot of people, that could be relationship ending. That could be a deal breaker.
You can't really find out unless you are truly split. A lot of people try and take a break and go see, but it's not a real test. A true test is no, we are broken up, we are done, there's no foreseeable future. And then you try and go and move on. You have to go through the breakup process and get over that person, then start seeing people to truly know. Otherwise, you're looking at it through different colored glasses that you'll never see the truth. So I think a break to go make sure, I don't know how often that really works.
I will tell you personal experience. When you really care and you want the best for that person as well as the best for yourself, sometimes you allow these things to go on to see what really is going to stick. Because let me tell you something, life is a long time. Marriage is not like it's a week or two or a year or two, or you are talking about 50, 60. I was at a funeral today. People were together for 70 years.
Yeah.
And 70 years was not easy. There was a lot of tough times in that relationship. I knew these people now for 50 years. And I saw a lot of shit going on in that relationship. So when she wants to make sure in something, I say, go for it at this point in time, what's going on. My mom certainly told me that she was dating, two different guys when, or one guy when she went out with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And this other guy asked her out, and she, knew the other guy, and she said, no, I'm going to, stick with this guy. And she married my dad. And I don't know if she ever thought twice about the other guy, or she was tickled, silly about my dad.
Yeah.
I mean, they had their issues. They certainly did. I mean, there was, good parts of their relationship, and there were some times there was tough parts in their relationship. So make sure that you look at all the avenues before you take that final branch, because especially where you are today, knowing what you know, be sure this is the tact you want to take.
Yeah, definitely.
The man that you end up with has to be understanding enough to know that you've really investigated this, so you know that your feelings where you're going to make that commitment.
Yeah, well, and the boyfriend in this is 27. There's a 5-year age gap. He's got a lot more experience likely under his belt. And so, it's easy for someone who's dated a bunch of people to say, yeah, you're the one. But when you have someone that you've had a crush on for forever and the timing just didn't work out, and then all of a sudden it's like you get this big confession, it's hard to move past that. I would have a hard time.
And she's been with her boyfriend now for 3 years. So it's when she was 19 she started to see this fellow at the end of 18. So be sure what you're doing and go back to following your instinct to make sure that you're content with your decision, because you're the one that has to live with that decision.
I gotta just say, I think the second you had feelings in that moment, your current relationship was done. Like if I knew that and I'm your current partner, I'd be like, all right, cool. Something's not right here. I mean, it's what you started with.
Right, but something's not right here. I got that, but that doesn't mean it can't get right. It doesn't mean that you walk away totally at that point. I think the fact that she was open and honest with him, what took place, that's her avenue.
We don't know if she said, I felt something. And we also don't know what that was. It could have been like nostalgia or just a flashback. Like,
well, I had feelings.
I had feelings, and that might not have gotten conveyed. It might have only been conveyed that, hey, Bill said he has feelings for me. But I do agree. There's something about it that points to this is going to be one of those, well, what if I would have done that down the road? And like there was a trend on TikTok, and it was like my mom had like her ex from high school reach out after her and my dad got divorced, and now they're together. Like there was a trend that showed a lot of videos like that. And like, I don't know. I think it could be worth investigating.
Look at your grandmother. She was in love with this guy from her high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
And he went off, and for whatever happened, he didn't come back in time. She met someone else. She got married, had your mom and siblings. And, they had their different lives, but eventually they
reconnected.
They neither one of them ever forgot the other one.
Yeah, it is interesting. They've been married now for
20 years, I think.
No.
10 years? 15 years?
No, they didn't get together until I was like almost done with college.
Oh.
So 2015-ish.
Okay, so that's 9 years.
Somewhere in there. Maybe 20. I mean, it was high school to college, so they've been together at least 10 years, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so. But they got back together, and they're still happily married today.
Yeah.
So you never know.
But my grandma, if you ask her, her regret is not waiting for him. She brought it up on the last trip home because she's 80. She just turned 80. And she missed years 20 to 70. Like she missed 50 years. and had 2 other marriages, and she, had her kids and doesn't regret them, but she does regret not waiting for him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Damn.
yeah, she's got 2 big regrets: not waiting for him and not becoming a nurse. She wished that's one of her biggest regrets. Mm-hmm.
Onward.
Yeah, moving along. One of this week's partners is Go Henry. One of the best things you can do for your kids is to teach them how to manage money. And this should be started from the time they're little. And that's why I'm so excited to tell you about the sponsor of today's episode, Go Henry by Acorns, the smart debit card and app for kids 6 to 18. With Go Henry, kids can learn about money, set spending and saving goals, and even track chores and earn allowance money right within the app. They learn the value of money by using their Go Henry debit cards, while parents can set spend limits and help guide their journey, while staying informed every step of the way. I seriously wish I had this as a kid. I had to learn about money the hard way as an adult. And if my parents had set me up with Go Henry as a kid, learning to adult would have been so much easier. Set your kids up for success and get started today at gohenry.com/FKS. Terms and conditions apply. Renews from $4.99 per month unless canceled.
All right, we are going with number 2. Do I have a 2? Are we going for 3? Jumping to 3, 2, 1.5. 175, 3, 2, 1. First, second, 2. 2, he says. We have a bid. So let's go with 2. First, second, third. Last call. 2. Not 2.25. Not 2.5, but 2.
I'm a couple of months into seeing a new partner. I, 23 female, and he, 26 male, met on a dating app.
Yeah.
We have really made a connection after a couple dates, consistent texts, and regular phone calls. I really like him. From the get-go, I knew he was Christian. He had it on his dating profile. I'm not religious, but I've been around religion before in my life and have respect for people who prioritize their faith. On our second date, and when things were headed in the direction of sex, I pulled away and asked if he was a virgin. He said yes. I asked him if he was waiting for marriage, and he said yes. I told him I was not, and he said that was okay with him. We stopped and talked about it for a while. He asked me if that changed how I felt about him. Considering it was the second date, I said no, and that it was just different for me. I told him in an ideal world, I'd wait to have sex with someone until I trusted them, usually a couple of dates. I told him as we move forward in our relationship, he would need to take the initiative with sex because I didn't want to cross any boundaries. He said he, quote, does everything but sex. I asked him what that meant because sex could be a lot of things. He said, quote, sex. I haven't really asked him since. We've hung out multiple times and things have progressed, minus the penetration. I really like him and I want to take the next step in becoming official with him. I can see a future with him, but I'm nervous. I feel sexually fulfilled now, but I never imagined putting myself in a relationship where I wouldn't get to explore the sexual side fully before marriage. What if that changes? Should I back out now before I become emotionally attached? He is the kindest, funniest, most caring man I've met, but the constant reminders of marriage and waiting do make me anxious. He comes across as very understanding of my concerns, but it still has me worried. Any advice?
You're new. I don't know how long his old relationships were and how patient he was in those relationships. And if someone is indulging in a relationship where two people are naked in bed and they are orally fondling every part of each other's body, I find it a little
hypocritical.
Yeah.
I know.
That's sex. I mean, come on. I mean, if I, am dating somebody and I said, I just want you to know, I saw my ex-girlfriend last night, and they said, well, do you have sex? And oh no, we didn't have sex, but certainly I had a blowjob and I licked her, but that wasn't sex. I mean,
right, but sure, but
it's in
still,
the name, oral sex.
It's fine, but it doesn't change his position. So how do you deal with that?
The thing that you really deal with is that first become friends and see where you guys are, and you'll know by the kiss if this is no.
Fuck no. There's some people that are great kissers and then just blow at everything else.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's your what I say see where the relationship, it might solve itself when you find out that you're just not compatible.
Yeah, I think like after 9 months, you should have a decent idea, maybe even a year, but like
No, they've done on a few dates.
couple months into seeing, I think
Couple
was
months.
how it started. So a couple months into seeing someone. So like for me, if I got to the 9-month mark and like everything is great, but we haven't had sex yet,
Mhm.
then you kind of know, okay, like this person might be sticking out for, and, whatever. But it is interesting. I think like for me and a lot of my friends, like I don't think we would wait. Like you got to fully test drive the car before you buy it. But there are some people that could argue, well, if he can make you have an orgasm without penetration, like you're good. Like the penetration, like a lot of women don't even have penetrative orgasms anyways. So like, he can't really mess that part up if he's good at everything else. So there's that argument in it too. It's like there's more ways to have sex besides just penetration. So
Yeah, I think it comes down to like his boundary seems pretty set if he's stuck to it this far. So
yeah, it's true.
you need to determine, do you want this? Do you want to wait and, see what happens? Or is it a deal breaker for you? I think that's what you're trying to figure out, because the ideal outcome would be being in a relationship and having sex with him. But I don't feel comfortable asking him to change his boundaries.
Yeah, and yeah.
I wonder if there's a way that I can feel sexually justified in making this relationship commitment without changing this commitment he's made to himself and his religion.
Yeah, that's a head game you got to play with yourself. And if he's comfortable bringing other toys into the bedroom that appease you, like there's other methods without having penetration from his dick. Like there's so many other things you can do, and so many other devices. But yeah, it's an interesting conversation that I think develops further. But like the last thing you want is to then have sex and he just resents you for making him,
Right, 100%.
not wait and things like that. But I always find this so interesting. And I think it's because I end up on Mormon TikTok a lot and they talk about soaking. Have you heard about soaking?
Soaking, you just, you get to rub it, but you don't get to put it in.
No. So soaking, because they also believe no sex before marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to judge in any way. I don't really find purity culture to be like the most healthy typically. But soaking, you stick it in and other people bounce the bed and it doesn't count because you're not moving.
Oh, I thought but it is. It's being close in proximity. It's just the tip. I mean, basically.
Yeah. And anal is okay too.
Great to know.
Yeah. So
look, I really feel that, the biggest thing that you really first need to do is really decide if this is the person that you just really, really like to spend time with and you're great friends, and let's see where that goes. Because you may find out in this friendship, he is a great friend and he just isn't the guy to be your lover. And that drives the sexuality. Yeah. The sexuality doesn't drive typically the other side. Now, I'm not saying that some people just aren't so physically attracted to each other that it can take them to 100. Don't say that I don't think that's out there. It is out there. But typically, it's the friendship, it's the bond between the partnership that makes you carry you through life.
Yeah, I will say too, like I know we're picking apart the sex aspect of this, but for him to be so religious that he's willing to uphold that part of his religion and no sex before marriage, you guys might not have the same values too, because that is a big value. And someone that is very Christian and very religious, they value that.
It's a big part of their lives.
Yes.
And a lifestyle.
And so you might be okay dating now, but as you progress down the road, you might find that is just not something you can get on board with. Like, say you guys want kids. are our kids going to go to Sunday school, or they were going to mass every Sunday? Like,
where do you envision your wedding?
Exactly.
There's a lot of factors.
There's
with
a
that.
lot more that I think you'll unpack before, like, not having sex before marriage would become a deal breaker for you.
Yeah.
I think that's very true.
Yeah. So you just got to feel it out, and you'll know. You'll know if you're willing to wait. But
And you can give it a little time.
there's other ways to get off too, but I can imagine it'd be very sexually frustrating after a certain amount of time.
Intimacy is trust. It's really there, and it becomes very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not even hypnotic, but it becomes a very good foundation where you guys are on the same planet of meeting of the minds. That was really the best thing that you said. Religiously,
Yeah, you never know.
and culturally, are you going to be able to have a meeting of the minds?
Yeah, and I mean, there's dildos and things, so you'll figure it out. But keep
And
us
strap-ons.
posted.
Strap-ons.
I wonder if a
There's-
strap-on would technically not. Like, I wonder if he would be willing to use a strap-on because it's not his.
If you can do oral, you can do a strap-on.
Remember the chin dildo?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot you can explore here, so keep us posted.
Yeah.
I actually saw a show the other day,
Oh, gosh.
and they were talking about, and there was a word for it, and I was trying to call you to say, I got the word of what to call it. and I forgot what it was. Oh, well.
I'm really glad.
Wow. Okay.
Moving along.
Okay. Let's roll.
Another one of this week's partners is Hungry Root. Call me a hermit or call me smart, but I don't like going to grocery stores. Busy, crowded lines, most of the items I want out of stock, which is why I love Hungry Root. Hungry Root makes it easy to get fresh, high-quality food delivered to your door. They've got healthy groceries and simple recipes all in one place. So your fridge is going to be stocked, but you're going to know how to use it before it goes to waste and you end up throwing all of it away. We love everything Hungry Root sends us. I love the snacks and breakfast options. My favorite is the oats. I'm able to wake up, I can grab them as I'm running out of the house, eat them when I get a minute, and I'm starting my day on a better foot, so I'm not hangry, I have more energy, I just overall feel better throughout the day. One thing that I think sets Hungry Root apart is that they really care about your health and making sure whatever you're getting fits your meal and dietary plans. So whether you're gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian, dairy-free, low-carb, low sugar, whatever your diet looks like, and Hungry Root will take that into consideration and plan according to that. And this makes life so much easier. I'm trying to go dairy-free, and when I do go to the store, trying to read through all the ingredients on the back of something is exhausting. If you're ready to try it for yourself, right now, Hungry Root is offering Father Knows Something listeners 40% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/FKS to get 40% off your first delivery and get your free veggies. That's hungryroot.com/FKS. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you.
Oh, 3.
Story number 3. We got story number 3. We're over story number 2. Moving on to story number 3.
Yeah, up by a quarter.
You do it fast.
Really?
Do
Do it fast?
Do it.
We're at 2, 2.25, 2.5, 275. 275, we're going on 3. 3, we have it. We're on story number 3. First,
There we go.
second, third, last call. 3.
Howdy, y'all.
Howdy.
I just want to say I'm a huge fan of FKS and THT, and I can't wait to see y'all at the live show in Austin this year.
Ah!
Am I going to Austin?
Unsure yet.
Unsure. See, we don't know about Dad.
Austin would be a good one.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll maybe tack you on there.
Okay, now to my problem. I, 21 female, have never been in a serious relationship, and I feel like I've been missing out on a huge life experience. I've tried dating in the past, but it's always turned into a situationship because the guys never want to commit to an actual relationship. Because of this and the heartbreak that came from the situationships, I haven't even attempted to date anyone in over a year and a half. I'm going to graduate from college this spring and don't have a specific plan for after graduation, so it doesn't seem like the best time to start dating. But with the majority of my friends being in serious relationships, I worry that I might miss my chance because I've been so closed off to pursuing anything. I have been stuck in a place of being terrified to get my heart broken again, but also terrified that I'm never going to know what it feels like to be in love and be loved by someone else. I know I'm still young and have plenty of time, but sometimes it seems like I will be single forever.
No.
LOL.
No.
If y'all could give me any advice on how to start dating or how to get over the fear of getting my heart broken again, that would be awesome. Again, I love y'all so much and thank you for the advice in advance.
Who's going first?
You got it.
Yeah.
Friends. The key is friends. Think about the friend that you love the most, your best friend, people that you've cared about, friends. Start with friends. And long as you guys enjoy hanging out and you find that you are really good together as friends, see if that takes you to the next level. And the next level is simply as intimacy. Don't worry about being able to call him my boyfriend or he'll call you his girlfriend, because that's natural if you guys are friends and you want to be connected at the hip to go out and enjoy your daily adventures with it. You're not looking for other people. You will know yourself if he is the person you want to hang with.
But that sounds like the situationships that she's trying to get away from. And I think it's like maybe a generational thing, because coming from a girl that's gone through her early 20s, situationships are very common. They're almost hard to avoid at that age because a lot of the guys you're dating aren't mentally mature enough to handle a relationship. And so it does not feel great to go into it in that way. Like, you want to like almost have clear expectations. Yeah, you can have friends, you can have guy friends, but when you're looking to date someone, it's better to have clear expectations from the jump, so you don't end up in these situationships where you're investing your feelings, your time, your energy, and then you find out, I don't like you at all. I don't want to date you ever.
What about the one that says, I love you, I'm your girlfriend, and you find out that they're busy because they have to work late, and you find out, even though you're dating and they're calling you boyfriend and girlfriend, that they're out cheating on you and they're going to bars and they're meeting with other people.
I mean, the reality is it's a balance.
What does that have to do with our writer?
It has this to do.
He's just saying the polar opposite of what you said.
I just said the fact
but that's
that
life. That's the risk you take dating anyone.
However, being with somebody and not really worried what you call it right in the beginning, that you find out by the relationship that it grows to be what it is. That's what I'm saying to her. I don't know I don't know her situationships, what her interpretation of a situationship is. I just know that when you're with somebody that you want to be with, I don't care what you call it, you guys are going to be together, and no one else is coming into that world.
I think, everyone has different methods of how they want to date. I think when it comes to ours, like, we are very different. We're going to have to agree to disagree on that.
Okay.
But I look at this as like, if this were my girlfriend, which you are, I would be like, okay, let's look at the guys you've been going for. Like, what are some common denominators? And you are young. Like, most of my dating happened after college, to be honest. But it's like, you can't expect to have a serious relationship if you're not putting yourself out there. And it's hard and it's scary, but it's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. But I would say, try to be very intentional. Try to go into it with, I'm looking for this and this. Like, I'm willing to have fun initially. Like, don't put too much pressure on them. But like, by the third date, if you feel like you're getting dragged along a little bit, move on to the next one. But dating is hard. Like, you look at anyone, like, dating is not easy, no matter what age, no matter who you are. I look at, some of my girlfriends who are really successful and beautiful, smart people, and they have a hard time dating. I think it's just the time we're in right now.
I think that the best way to get someone to want to make that commitment is you start into it and say, until I have a commitment, all bets are off. We're dating. And
that's just what dating is.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so don't ask me what I'm doing. And I mean, hang out together as much as you want. And if he says, are you seeing anybody else? The answer is, until I have a commitment, I may not be seeing anyone today, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to see anyone tomorrow.
Well, and that's like, you have the conversation down the line after, 6 dates. You have the conversation of like, are we exclusive? Do you want to be my girlfriend?
That's
you have
Russian.
That conversation.
6 dates?
6 months, whatever the timeline is for someone. But if you want to be transparent and say, like, I just want you to know, like, I am going to be seeing other people, that's fine. You have a roster until you find someone that you're willing to drop the roster for.
A roster.
A roster.
That term. Well, I mean,
I just say, she's just saying, how do I get started? My answer is, go out and just see if you like each other, and have fun. And
Just
Date
keep
everyone.
Keep doing what you're doing.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Because
Date everybody.
Date everyone. Download the apps. Go out. Date everyone.
Because the additional info, I'm a relatively introverted person with social anxiety, so I don't normally meet potential guys at bars or parties, but I'm trying to work on it.
Yeah.
I also don't love using dating apps because the decision to pursue someone just based on looks alone feels a bit shallow to me.
Yeah.
I get that.
It can be. I mean, I met Justin on Hinge, and I think what I liked about Hinge versus other dating apps at the time, like Tinder and Bumble, is Hinge, like, it felt like it provided more about the person. They responded to prompts that showed their personality.
Yep.
You got a better read on who people were on Hinge,
100%.
I felt. So I think every app is kind of different. I know things have changed. I haven't been on there in 5 years now, but I think they can be very good. But yeah, I think dating apps have kind of made things worse for a lot of people. There's too much instant gratification. There's the dopamine pathways in our brains that are kind of altered. So you can dabble in everything just because, get on an app and look very specifically for people that might match with you. But you can also go out and meet people too. Like,
Find
do it all.
find the things that you like to do and the places you like to do it, and see who else is there doing the same things that you like.
Mm-hmm.
And you may find a person that could be your friend.
Well, and I think it'll come when you're not expecting it.
Oh, it definitely happens when you're not expecting it.
Like you'll be out having fun, like you're saying, doing something you love, and all of a sudden you'll just start interacting with someone and you're like, wait, we should hang out. We should, and it just, sometimes it can just happen so naturally that way.
Let's imagine that you don't do anything to hang out. You haven't really had any passions. Try different things. Try dancing class. Try kickboxing. Try karate. Try jujitsu. Try, going to fireman class to learn how to be a fire person.
Yeah.
Try different things to see if it's snags your attention. Take up flying. There's many different avenues of things that you can do to find something that you can be passionate about. It could be hiking, could be mountain climbing.
Yeah.
And you will meet people in those environments.
Yeah.
And that's a great way.
And it's low pressure. It's not like walking up to somebody at a bar.
It's not at all like that.
It's completely just
and it's healthy.
natural.
And it's all healthy.
And it's organic.
It's organic, which could become orgasmic for you.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
Organically orgasmic.
All right. So
Keep
let us know.
posted.
Let us know. We're moving on number 4.
Moving along. Another one of this week's partners is Lumi. You want to start the year off fresh? And I mean really fresh, no more stinky pits or body odor. Lumi deodorant has got you covered. From pits to private or even your feet, you can use Lumi everywhere. Yes, everywhere. Lumi was actually designed by an OBGYN, and it's clinically proven to block odor all day long thanks to its one-of-a-kind pH-optimized formula. My favorite part about Lumi is how many options they have. When you usually think about deodorant, you think about the underarm stick. These wipes live in my bag. For the moments that I run out of the house, forget to put on my actual deodorant, and start smelling myself, I can freshen up with these wipes and be confident that there's no stink left. I love my toasted coconut scent from my stick deodorant, and I've actually gotten complimented on the tangerine from someone that thought it was perfume. It smelled that good. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a Lumi starter pack with code FKS at lumideodorant.com. That equates to 40% off your starter pack when you visit lumideodorant.com and use code FKS. Link is also in the description. Thanks, guys.
Oh, 3 bid the 4, tried the 4, come the 4, bid the 4, 4, yes or no, 4, I have 4, 4, first, second, third, last call, sold to 4.
Hi, Father Jerry, prayer hands emoji, and Justin, Morgan, and especially Lil Baby Holly. Right now, I'm at odds. I want so badly to move in with my partner. Financially, I think I can swing it. He wants me to. And it's something we've discussed extensively, at least starting with 2 to 3 days a week to see how we coexist before getting a mutual space. I am 24, in grad school, and I work as a TA and a children's art teacher, as well as doing social media management and occasionally picking up shifts at a bar I used to work at full time. I'm a very independent person and have always been. On to the problem. I live with my mom still, and while I know I'm independent, I think she is, Morgan's favorite word, enmeshed with me. Every time I try to have a calm, rational conversation with her to let her know what's happening and that I will, I'm not asking, I'm telling, be working towards moving in with my partner, she shuts down. She says I don't love her, says I'm stressing her out and we can't talk about that, tells me no, I'm not doing that, and it's deeply stressful and emotionally draining trying to almost justify or validate my relationship. Please help me find some other way to approach this. I'm at my wit's end, and all I know is I want to start building a life with him. Ideal outcome, that I can pursue my relationship and my life without having to be as extreme to potentially cut my mother out of it. Additional info, we have a family dog I am a primary caregiver for, but I've tried to make it abundantly clear that I will continue to pay for him to do daycare, food, pet insurance, and even find a dog walker when I do move, if that will reduce stress. My mother also does not like the age gap between my partner and I, 12 years, but we met in a mutual work setting. I'd already completed my first degree and was 22 when we met, and frankly, this is the most mature, safe, and confident relationship I've ever had. A true meeting of the minds. We share interests, moral stances, etc., and I feel extremely secure and happy with him.
Man, that was my grandmother's beautiful phrase.
Yeah.
I don't care who you meet, what you meet, if they're from Mars, if they're from Pluto, if they're from the planet Vulcan. If you guys have a meeting of the minds, you're down.
Yeah.
And I'm good with it.
Yeah.
You know, does it say how old her mom is?
No mention of mom's age. Our writer, again, is 24.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere.
So let's go figure 44, 50 in that area.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
So, look, I think when you have the conversation with your mom, you can certainly say, what is your biggest fear, Mom? When you have children, they grow up, they meet someone, they move out, they get married. And the good news is one day there might or might not be, a next generation. But it's not going to happen by me living with you home. And this is just not the plan that I have for myself.
Yeah.
And I love you. And your mom might say, why are you having this conversation with me? Are you out of your mind? I don't care what you do. Or she might say something, I'm afraid of being alone. Because her not liking the boyfriend could be something that's real or it can be control. We don't know which one it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I know one thing that we all have to do when it comes to family and them dating. We have to give the faith that they are finding what's good for them on their own without our help. Because that's all we want for one another. We want you to be with a person that makes you happy.
Yeah.
If you can see if they're making you miserable, then that's sometimes we step in and say, I've seen you, I've known you for 27 years, Mom, or you've known me for 27 years. And I respect the fact that you don't see that I'm as happy as I've been in other relations. That's a good conversation that family can have with one another because they only want the best for you. But evidently you've made the decision. This guy is the cat's meow for you right now. And this is where you're going to try to take the next step and see how it works out. And I think that's the conversation you have to have with your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully she'll be adult enough and equally as mature as you in her growth to say, I accept that. Because right now she's dependent upon you because you've been a great crutch for her all her life. You've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And your dad, it sounds like your dad's not a part of this. I don't know if it says that or not.
No mention.
But right now you are a crutch to her. And that may not be the healthiest thing. And she may need to get some assistance with that.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot in past episodes how you would say you parent up until a certain point, and then you let your kids just fly out of the nest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how you used to put it, but you always used to say, you just like, yep, they're just going and it's time for them to go do their life now.
I'll let you know in 4 weeks.
Nah, sooner the better. Fuck. This is a tough one, though. I feel like if the mom truly is like enmeshed, and it sounds like it, I mean, she shuts down, says, I don't love her. That's not healthy at all. That's very, controlling, emotionally manipulative. You might get to a point where you try to have these conversations. And I think I would go into it one more time and just say, hey, this is our chance to have a conversation about me moving out. It is going to happen. Let's sit down and talk about it. If she brushes you off, which she likely will based on the history here, you say, okay, I'm going to respect that you don't want to talk about this, but don't be surprised when one day I have boxes and I'm moving my stuff out.
Yeah.
Maybe she's helping financially in that house as well. And her mom is feared about the financial side of it.
There's a lot of reasons, but at the end of the day, like the mom can get a roommate. The mom could maybe downsize to a smaller place. Our writer could take the dog. Like there's so many other what ifs and like more context and things that can happen. But I don't think like you necessarily need to cut her out unless you move and she becomes very toxic or worse. Is it uncomfortable not having a conversation with your mom before you move? Yeah. Is she going to stop you? Can she stop you? No. If you want to move, put your shit in a box, drive it over to the boyfriend's house and move. Like you're at an age where you can only try to have these conversations and do your diligence. But if you don't have a receptive partner, you just got to keep going down your path. So
you can't ask her, Mom, what are your fears?
You can have that conversation, yeah, but
and
if she's unwilling to do that, it's really hard. But yeah, your mom might not be emotionally mature enough to handle this. You could have been a surrogate partner for her. She could be,
codependent.
She could be very self-centered, and so she, views you as an extension of her, and therefore you can't have your own life. Like there's a magnitude of reasons, but if you do want to start a healthier relationship with your mom, I would say family therapy could be great.
Yeah, I mean, I really think the first step is turning towards her, having the tough convo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'll change. I really do think that'll just change a lot.
And don't get triggered. Whatever you do, don't let her trigger you that you lose your shit in this conversation.
Our writer doesn't sound like they would.
No.
I would say like if she really refuses to have the conversation, you could write a letter and say, this is me moving forward with my life. I will move out by this date, blah, blah, blah. But I think, again, if she refuses to have these conversations, like family therapy might be good for you guys going forward for your relationship for forever. Like cutting your mom out, it's sad. And a lot of people do have to do that. But I think you can avoid it and better your relationship.
Well, I think there might be an element too with enmeshment sometimes where either party, which in this case it would be the mom, doesn't realize the weight of what they're doing. They don't realize the effect of those comments. They think it's just, because they get it and make peace with it in that moment because it releases some kind of tension within them. Then they're all of a sudden normal and fine. And they don't know the effect that it has on you when you go walk away and think about it. Mm-hmm. They're free. They said what they have to say and they're good. So, if she's resistant to conversation or doesn't realize the effects it's having on you, then hopefully a third party, as in a therapist, could help.
Yes, and sometimes the parent is such a narcissist that they can't even accept the fact to hear you out and to let it come in, because I know some people that I've had these kind of conversations. And let me tell you, unless it's going their way, forget it.
Yeah.
They're going to lock down and you're the asshole for even having these thoughts or these feelings. And then, it's nasty. It's just, and no matter what you try to keep the conversation into a calm voice back and forth, it's almost impossible.
Yeah. And it's hard. I think based on our experience and other experiences in my life with people that do cross boundaries or overly emotionally rely on you or have a hard time when things don't go exactly according to their plan. I think it's hard initially to set the boundary, but like you're already doing, like you're telling her, you're not asking, is it going to create some issues in the immediate future? Yeah. When you start enforcing boundaries with people that have never had boundaries enforced, it's not fun for them. You're going to have a reaction. You're going to have emotions or, comments. But It's like any muscle. You keep setting the boundary. You keep holding on to the boundary. You enforce the consequence if they break it. And it does get better. They learn they can't keep, treating you like a doormat. Your boundaries do need to be respected. So it might be just one of those things that you got to start flexing that muscle.
Let's see. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah, keep us posted.
We're going on cinco.
Last story.
Cuatro bid cinco. Cuatro go cinco. Cuatro go cinco.
You have a hard enough time in English. Just try that.
Four go the five, bid the five. Try the five now. Five. We have it. We're starting on number 5.
I've been winning a lot of bids today. This is great.
You're the only one bidding. Bid that.
Hi, I love your podcast. I started listening to this one and 2 Hot Takes earlier this year. I thought I would come on here and ask for advice because I have no idea what to do. So I have been dating my boyfriend for about 4.5 years now. We also live together and own a dog together. We had a rocky start with some trust issues from things he did, but I learned to trust again, and we are now in a very healthy and stable relationship. I used to think this is what I wanted and that he was the one. However, at the start of 2023, it felt like I suddenly lost feelings for him. I've always been very loyal and only had eyes for him, but I found myself at the gym and out in public looking for attention from other guys, even guys that were not my type at all. Not that I'd ever physically cheat or start texting guys on the side, but I was looking to get attention, which I know is terrible. I started to feel very bored by this relationship and irritated by my boyfriend, not even wanting to spend time with him. Then I started to see proposal pictures on social media and realized that I couldn't imagine being excited if that was him and I. I don't know what is going on with me. I feel like a horrible person, and I know this isn't how I normally am. Part of me worries this will become a pattern if I start dating other people, or maybe my boyfriend just isn't the one. A lot of people in my life think I should leave him, but I'm torn. I so badly want to go back to how I used to feel and want to be excited about being with him. He's ready for marriage, and I told him to wait. I have to figure things out. And if I do want to leave, it feels impossible with the routine I've gotten in with living with him and our dog. But on the other hand, what if he isn't my person and I end up in a marriage where I'm not happy? So my question is, after 4 years, is it normal to feel bored? And is there a way to get feelings back? Or does that mean it's time to go?
Boy, you're going to like my answer on this.
This is a good one.
It is. You have a couple options here. First option, always be directly honest and open about it, but then suggest at the same time couple therapy to see what is missing that's causing you to feel this lapse. Obviously, it's easy to run and say, look, it's done, it's over, and I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
If there's value to this relationship of anything that you might think that this person is worthy of really looking to see what happened, couples therapy, try it, see where you go with it. And you might find out even with that, it's not going to have those feelings brought back. You're not getting the feed of attention or whatever it might be that is that missing element. Then you know you have to move on and find the person who is going to be your person.
Yeah.
That's in a nutshell.
I mean, we're at year 5. We just hit year 5. I feel like life gets comfortable, but I've never felt bored with you.
Mm-mm.
And I feel like this comment here that I wanted to point out, but I was looking to get attention, which I know is terrible. I don't think it's terrible. I think it shows there is something missing in your relationship. Are you not getting attention? Are you not getting little compliments or little bids throughout the day? Like, what has inspired you to seek that external validation and attention?
Yeah.
To me, that just shows that something's changed. Maybe he's gotten complacent to where he's not putting in some effort, and so you feel the need to do that. I think there's a lot you could unpack. I think, I thought this was my person. What happened? I think couples therapy could be great. And maybe you need that anyways, just to to see. Maybe individual therapy.
Maybe she doesn't see that. She doesn't feel the fire from him. She really doesn't feel the fire from him anymore.
Well,
Maybe he doesn't have the fire anymore.
so here's what's interesting, and I didn't find it relevant. I wasn't going to share it until you bring up this comment, but ideal outcome would be to figure out whether or not he's the one and then either find the strength to leave. I'm horrible at decisions and change, or find my feelings for him again and marry him. One more thing. I never had butterflies when I met him. He wasn't my type either. It all happened very fast. Not sure if that contributes to anything.
150%.
But it's interesting because a lot of relationship experts will say initial butterflies, like, sure, it's could be anxiety provoking meeting someone new and, all those firsts. But you shouldn't, like, the butterflies aren't necessarily
Sustainable.
Yes, like butterflies mean anxiety. It's a heightened response. Like, you should feel comfortable with your partner, not, constantly on edge.
I gotta say, this one's not any different to me than the Will or Bill or whoever.
I'm kind of team Bill.
For me, it's the same situation. I'm tempted. The grass looks very green over there, and you're gonna really have big regrets if you don't go check it out. You may have some regrets if you go check it out, and then you're like, wait, no, I had it good. I think you're 4 years in. If we're talking marriage, it's not just another 4 years. It's like Jerry said, it can be decades and decades and decades.
It could be a death sentence.
So if you're already hitting this now, get out, go see what else is out there, and you'll figure it out.
I really do believe that part of the feeling she's going through is not just her. It's reading something in him.
Yeah.
Her instincts are not feeling the same thing that he used to give. And because of that, she's starting to lose interest.
Sure. And I think if you get to any sort of point where you really cannot decide, or you're leaning more towards him and you're like, yeah, I think I'm going to give it a try again, then go spend your money on couples therapy. If you don't get there, don't waste your money, get out and go try some new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I wouldn't worry about the dog. So many people co-parent dogs with their exes.
Yeah, I mean, Holly is a story of stories.
Yeah. So it's doable to still, have your dog. We do it with Holly. But I think, I would really ask, like, what changed too? Like, did anything change, or did it truly just fade away? Something I find really fascinating.
You find it fascinating.
Typically, women are on hormonal birth control.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll have sometimes with women, they'll go off their birth control, and the partner that they've been with for 3 years thought was so hot, love them so much. They go off their birth control, they find them disgusting.
Makes sense.
There's studies coming out that show hormonal birth control can affect the attractiveness you find towards people.
I would fully believe that.
So, I mean, did you go off birth control if that applies to you? I find that really interesting.
It is. Yeah, because it's all chemical. It's all chemistry within your body.
Yeah. So I would see if, what changed. I mean, you guys have made a relationship work 4.5 years. Like,
but are you just comfortable in going through the motions?
Exactly.
Because it sounds like we're getting a lot of reasons. Here's why I can't leave. Here's why it would be so difficult. I don't like change. I can't make decisions like this.
It's not because I love him. I didn't hear that.
The change.
I didn't hear it.
No, it's the exact opposite. I've fallen out of love.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case,
onward.
But I want to say though, like, relationships are work. Like, you can't expect to have the same feelings for someone for 20 years unless you're putting in the work, but it has to be mutual. So that's why I'm like, if you thought this was your person and you want to explore couples therapy, determine what changed, and if you can't get back on track and there's not more effort being put in, it's time to go your own ways, no matter how hard it is to leave.
Yeah.
That's what's best.
I'm curious. Curious what happens.
Yeah.
So that's it for this show. And I do believe we're going to have a Patreon after this. So do jump over to the backyard.
Yes.
Where we're going to have a cookout.
I don't like the cookout. This is weird.
Maybe we'll have s'mores.
Oh.
S'mores.
We'll have some more.
You're speaking my language.
Wait, come to Patreon. We're gonna have some more.
Dad jokes, am I right?
Some more.
You gotta wrap this
Some
thing up.
more.
It's pronounced s'more.
I know, but it works. Some more. We'll have more.
Yeah,
some
no,
more.
I see what you're trying to do. It's good. It's good. People will definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
I hope you guys do it.
They
And yeah,
will.
I'm a little wacky, but
The
it's
best
okay.
ones are.
All righty. So we'll see you on the other side. And otherwise, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. S'more. Let's get
Yeah,
some
it's good.
s'mores.